Welcome, everyone. This is the official welcome for the benefit of the recording to our District 103 Toastmasters D103 Senior Advisor Webinar Series. I am Cassandra, Diva of Dialogue Lee, your facilitator for this session. It gives me great pleasure to use divine inspiration vocally applied to educate and empower you today on pathways. The D103 Senior Advisor Webinar Series is an opportunity for us to have various topics presented. This is a collection of live webinar events that tend to cover various topics beneficial to our club members for the benefit of membership growth, district leadership, club building, pathways, team building, conflict resolution, club quality, member retention, and so on and so on and so on. You will see a variety of other topics that I didn't necessarily mention, yet you get the gist. The reason I facilitate this particular session is to make certain whatever topics we need for the benefit of our clubs, our areas, our divisions, and in essence, our district, we have 90 minutes in which to cover it. The 90 minutes does give us more of an in-depth opportunity to explore the topic. We also have Q&A. We tend to sometimes have group activities. This is an interactive opportunity in the D103 Senior Advisor webinar series. Therefore, it won't be me doing all the lecturing, if you will. You will have the opportunity to engage with me via the chat box, from time to time via the microphone, and even engaging with each other. As a matter of fact, let's do some engagement right now. Go ahead and use a reaction icon that represents your enthusiasm for being here. Find a reaction icon that you like to use. And Elizabeth, I love that. I know Zoom calls that reaction icon, ta-da! I actually call that reaction icon celebrate. So I'm glad to see the celebration. Florence, I love the icon inside of the chat box. Bev, thank you for yours. Dushan, I look at you getting clever with the OK symbol. Good. We have some different icons being used to represent your enthusiasm for being here today. I am also grateful to all of you that put inside of the chat box what brought you here to this session today. Yet I'm going to ask a series of questions via a poll. Because we're talking about pathways today, I want to tailor my questions to you now, more specifically toward pathways. Therefore, let me launch the poll. And as it comes up, it will give you the opportunity to answer. All right, good. I'm looking at my secondary device to make certain that I see the poll come up. It looks like it has launched. Go ahead and do me a favor. Inside of the poll, I want you to put your answers for the 3 questions that you see. The title of this poll is Investing Time. The first question is asking, on an average, how much time do you spend per month using pathways? Listen, this is a unanimous or anonymous, it's an anonymous poll, which means whatever your answer is, I won't know that it was you that said it. So that means if you are not investing any time at all, that's completely okay to say that. If you're investing less than 30 minutes, tell me that. If you're putting in 1 to 4 hours, let me know that as well. If you find that you're putting in more than 4 hours, tell me that too. The second question that you have an opportunity to provide me with an answer is the question of, when preparing to deliver your speech, how much time do you spend prepping the assignment using Basecamp? Well, I know some of you who answered not at all with that first question are more than likely thinking, well, Cassandra is none, and that's okay. put none, because if you are not using pathways, that means you are not using Basecamp to prep that speech. Yet some of you are using Basecamp to prep your speech before you deliver it. And some of you are using less than 30 minutes to do so, 1 to 4 hours to do so, and at other times, more than 4 hours. So however much time you are using Basecamp, I want you to let me know that. Of course, the final question is asking the question of, on average, how often do you review upcoming assignments in Basecamp? This means you're taking a sneak peek, if you will. How many times are you doing that? Some people may say not at all. And again, that makes sense. If you're not using pathways, if you are not using Basecamp, you are not getting a sneak peek to your upcoming assignments. Yet some of you are taking a sneak peek and you're doing that at least 1 to 3 times, or perhaps you're doing that 6 to 9 times. And other individuals in the room might be doing it 10 times or more. Yet on average, how often do you review your upcoming assignments in Basecamp? I'm curious to know your answers. All right, I have gone through all of the questions. I've reviewed what the various options are. And I like the opportunity here to make sure that I end the poll and share the results. You will see on average what the results are. Most of you, as it relates to the first question, on average, how much time are you spending using Basecamp or using Pathways per month? Most of you are spending 1 to 4 hours using Pathways. Then the second highest category is a little less than 30 minutes, so 30 minutes or less. Some of you are using it more than 4 hours, and then a few of you are using it not at all. We're doing pretty good because most of you today are engaging in Pathways at some point in time, which is perfect. The second question, you'll see our highest category for the answer to the question of, when preparing to deliver a speech, how much time do you spend prepping the assignment in Basecamp? Oh, look at that. 1 to 4 hours was the winner in that category. Some of you are spending, though, less than 30 minutes prepping your assignment, and a few of you are spending a little more than 4 hours, and some of you are not at all. Yet the majority of you that are here, as far as investing time prepping your assignment, you are spending at least 1 to 4 hours inside of Basecamp prepping that speech using the material in Basecamp. Kudos to you for that. Our very last category, and this category or question blew me away with your answers. And that's because when the question was asked, on average, how often do you review your upcoming assignments in Basecamp? Many of you, the majority of you, are taking that sneak peek at least 1 to 3 times. So that is awesome. And notice I'm calling it a sneak peek, meaning you're getting the opportunity to see what's ahead, what's coming up, what you might be able to do in upcoming assignments. This is fantastic, everyone. For me, what this poll is giving me an opportunity to know is how many of you today are at least opening up, clicking through, taking a listen of, or even reviewing information inside of Pathways and Basecamp. And the majority of you are. What I want you to do, as I'm about to do, I want you to find, again, your favorite reaction icon to celebrate your colleagues here in the room. I'm using the heart because I am loving the fact that each of you are finding a way to be involved in Pathways. Good. Now, as you know, this is a session specifically tailored for demonstrating Pathways. We can talk about Pathways until we're blue in the face, if you will. Yet what today's session is all about is making certain we can see what I call behind the curtains. I want us to move the curtains a little bit. I want us to be able to observe what Pathways is all about. And I want to be able to walk through some of the assignments. So let me take a look at my registration list. The reason I'm looking at my registration list is because I asked that question during registration. Would you be open to participating in this demonstration meeting? And a few of you said, yes, you would. Awesome. Now, as I look at my gallery view and I'm looking at my attendees that are present, and as I compare it to my volunteer list as well, I am looking at Sheila Jones, and Sheila, I think Sheila, I'm getting the wrong Sheila. I am Sheila. And thank you for that look, because Sheila Jones is looking like, I didn't say I was volunteering, Cassandra. That is perfect. Cheryl Lane, I was looking at my list and I see you. Cheryl Lane, are you still interested in participating?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, perfect. Cheryl, are you interested in delivering a speech, or are you interested in serving as a speech evaluator or as a navigator?
Delivering the speech.
Delivering a speech. Tell me this, Cheryl, in delivering the speech, are you delivering your speech from your leadership development path level 2?
Actually, I'm working on 3 now.
Okay, tell me where your speech will come from.
Where it's going to come from?
Yeah, which assignment are you completing?
I think I'm on the 3rd assignment. I'd have to look at it again.
All right.
I am so bad with Pathways. That's why you think I'm on here today.
All right, well, here's your homework assignment. Since I know you're going to be delivering a speech, I need to know what path is it coming from, which level is it coming from, and what your speech title will be. You can put that information in the chat box for me. And as you do that, I'll go ahead and make certain that I can grab an evaluator for you.
Oh, you want me to do a speech today?
Yes. Unless now you are not willing to do that.
For the speech today.
Dion, are you ready to do a speech today?
No. Okay, you know what? I can, because I can do it. I just have to, I can tell you where it's coming from.
You want to take a moment and grab
no,
that?
It's coming from innovative. It's coming from innovative planning.
Okay.
Level 4. And it's like a 2-parter where I have to give a 2 to 3 minute speech on getting a team together or something. I can't remember but I have it in my head what I have to talk about. I just don't remember how they described it. So
grab that specific for me, because I also need you to grab the speech evaluation form to drop it inside of the chat box.
Okay.
All right, good. Thank you. Now, for the sake of everyone, notice what I'm doing. In our club meetings, I'm almost doing what we sometimes do in our club meetings. When we are in our club meetings are structured around members delivering speeches, getting evaluations, and participating in table topics. Well, the members who are delivering speeches really should be delivering speeches that are associated with their path and pathways. Notice with Cheryl, she was so honest. She said, oh, you wanted me to do the speech right now? Well, I wasn't prepared to do the speech right now. Yet Dion came on the line and I said, okay, Dion, are you ready to deliver a speech right now? We know that's usually what happens in our club meetings, right? Sometimes our Toastmaster or our Vice President of Education is looking for members to fill the role while you're in the meeting. And they're needing the members to be as prepared as possible. And those who are delivering the speeches typically know what speech they're delivering or where it's coming from. And I want to say the manual, but I know that everyone isn't familiar with the manual. So let me use Pathways. As a member who's now using Pathways, you want to be aware of what path am I in? Innovative planning, leadership development, effective coaching, presentation mastery, and then there are 7 others. Which path are you in? Get that straight first, because your VPE will need that. The next point of information you want to provide to your VPE is what level are you in? Now, I was looking at my cheat sheet initially for Cheryl, and Cheryl's registration said she was at level 2. Yet notice what she said when I asked her about delivering a speech. Cheryl said, oh no, I'm not at level 2 anymore. I'm now at level 3. Well, ooh la la. That means she's progressing, she's moving forward. And although she's in level 3, like she honestly said, Cassandra, I'm not ready today to deliver a speech, yet the next speech I give will be in level 3 of leadership development. That's awesome. What Dion is doing right now is making sure she's grabbing for me, because she knows she's going to be delivering her speech and it comes from level 4. She's going to make certain that she's very clear on what level 4 assignment that is. Notice what Dion said. Cassandra, it's going to be one of those projects where it is a 2-parter. I have to give one part of a speech now, and then later I'll give the second part of the speech. So it might be the team building speech 1 that she's delivering, and she'll confirm that for us in a moment. And she's nodding her head. I see her. She's like, yes, that's exactly
I'm
what
just
it
trying
is.
to get the evaluation form for you here. Boy, this is talk about, what does it have, a speech in your hip pocket?
There you go. There you go. Absolutely. Alvin Joyner, who was one of our District 30 district governors back in the 90s. Alvin used to tell us 2 key things. Number 1, no free speeches. And then number 2, have a speech in your hip pocket. You're a Toastmaster. You should be able to speak off the cuff, no matter the time limit, he would say. And that's what Dion is doing right now. She's going to demonstrate that. However, before she does, we really need to make sure that with her path, we are at least getting an idea of what that information looks like. Now, I'm going to ask this question of our pathway guru. Hey, Dushan Mosley.
Yes, I'm here.
Have you ever been in innovative planning before?
Yes.
You have.
Yes.
Can you do me a favor?
Okay.
I want you to open up your innovative planning, and I literally want us to go to that level 4 assignment, because I want us to match the base camp behind the scenes information to the speech that Dion is going to deliver.
Okay, let me get that again. That is innovative planning.
Yep, innovative planning level 4. So I'll give you a moment. You can mute yourself, grab that information. And as Dushan is doing that, everyone, here's the reason why I'm doing this. Now, imagine if we were all together in the same club, you would pretty much have an awareness of where your members are and how they're progressing through everything. And some of your members are in the same path. Yet literally, we all represent different clubs. We represent different paths, yet we have the opportunity to see some of the same information because we have access to it in Basecamp, depending upon the path that we're in. Now, notice I asked Dushan Mosley. Again, Dushan Mosley is one of District 103's pathway gurus. I chose him because technically Dushan has done at least 5 paths already, which means some of the paths he's completed. As a matter of fact, Dushan has 2 distinguished Toastmaster awards and one that he just recently got from Toastmasters International because, and I think actually he might have 3, so don't let me misquote, he'll correct in a moment, but he finished 2 paths with pathways, and I believe he might have finished 4 paths in pathways, which means that innovative planning may have been one of the paths that he's completed. And that's why I asked him if he had. He said he did. And I know pathways, for me, my first path was innovative planning. So even if Dushan doesn't have it, I'll be able to pull it up as well. Now, Dion is going to focus on delivering the speech. Dushan is going to be our navigator. And what that means is Dushan is going to be the one that walks us through the behind the scenes of Basecamp. That way Dion can focus on organizing her speech, being prepared with giving the evaluation form inside of the chat box, and on as a speaker. Speaking of being a speaker and delivering a speech evaluation, I would love to know who in the room today wants to practice your evaluation skills by serving as Dion's speech evaluator. Use that raised hand feature for me, or you can put it inside of the chat box. I see Dion has put the form inside of the chat box. Is there anyone today who would like to serve as, oh, great, thank you. And I hope I'm going to pronounce your first name correctly. Is it Gioia or Gioia?
Joya.
Joya? Joya.
Like Joya.
Joya. Joya. Joya. Hey, Joya. Thank you so much, Joya, for representing the speech evaluator role today. Hey, Joya, tell me this. Does that form download for you? Were you able to download the form?
Let me click.
And it might go to your download folder. It may go to your desktop. It's going somewhere though on your system.
Right. Where that is, where is the good question? Let me see. I will continue to look for it. It's probably in my downloads. Let me figure out how to get there.
Great. Awesome.
Cassandra, innovative planning is archived for me because I went through that before. I can't pull it back up again. Sorry
Okay.
about that.
No problem. Oh, then that means it'll be archived for me. I won't be able to do it either. Well, Dushan, do me a favor. Which path are you in?
I'm in several paths, but the one mastery, presentation mastery.
Okay.
Presentation mastery, yes.
Presentation mastery. Give me 1 second of pause. Let me look at something. Okay. What I was looking at, everyone, just so you'll know, I was double checking again. There are several people who registered for this session, yet being present, some people registered for the purpose of the recording. Therefore, my other innovative planning people are only getting the recording. They won't be present today. Dushan is in a different path than Dion. However, we'll still look at some of the information and navigate through to get an idea. What I want you to consider is no matter what speech you're delivering, there is homework to do. I call it homework, but really I call it pre-work. There's pre-work that you do and you'll be using your Pathways Basecamp to do it. So Dushan, go ahead and prep presentation mastery, prep level 4. I think some of the details are going to be very similar. And then some of the details, and nope, she's in innovative planning. So the details are going to be different, but
Yes.
I'll walk through some things. So we can still walk through some things.
Do you need me like to
Okay.
share my screen at all for innovative planning?
Yeah, so you can do that.
You can. You can. I wanted you to focus on your presentation though. Joya, how you
Okay.
doing with the evaluation?
I was able to download it
Perfect.
so I can see it.
Awesome. Okay, cool.
Actually,
Good.
let me see if I can even print it. That would be even better.
Okay, go ahead and do that. Dion, as Joya is printing, go ahead, share your screen. Dushan, you will still be
Okay.
navigator. I'm going to use your voice, although we'll use
Okay.
Dion's screen.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's 2.
Sheila, I love your smile. You're engaged there. You like checking this out.
Can you see the
I
innovative
can.
planning? Okay.
Yes, I can. All right, pause it there for a moment, Dion. All
Okay.
right.
Okay, Dion, so which one are you on now? Innovative planning?
I'm on manage projects successfully.
And that's the actual speech that you're delivering from?
Oh, that's where I'm delivering from. Oh, you do need a title, don't you? Okay. Real simple. Successful winter TLI. A successful winter TLI.
A successful Winter TLI. All right. Do me a favor, Dion. Go back to that main category because I want to explain to people what they're taking a look at.
Here
Okay.
or
So that's good. Yep. Go right there where you say open curriculum. Okay.
oh,
Yep. Pause there for a moment.
okay.
Now, everyone, here is why I wanted Dion to come back to this place. Notice everyone was at a different level. Cheryl was the first person that I was talking to. And I said, hey, Cheryl, you want to deliver a speech? And are you delivering a speech from level 2? She says, no, I'm delivering my next speech at level 3. Then Dion, when I got her to be the volunteer for speaking, she said her speech was at level 4. If you take a look on the left-hand side, let me get my other right together. Take a look on the left-hand side, underneath where it says 56%, everyone. First of all, find a reaction icon and give Dion some love for that 56%. She's almost done with this innovative planning path, which is fantastic. You will notice underneath that 56%, it lets her know her curriculum progress. That's why the percentage is there. It tells her the title of the path she's in and also which level she's already completed. Anytime you see the blue check mark by a level, that means that you have completed all of the assignments, or as they call it, all of the projects inside of that level. So she has completed level 1. She's completed level 2, and she has completed level 3, and that's all on that left-hand side. You will see level 4 is not checked. Level 5 is not checked, and path completion is not checked. That means she still has some work to do, and that is why she's at level 4 right now. She is about to complete her main assignment for level 4. Now, the reason I say main assignment, and Dion did a perfect job when she put her purple finger over on that right-hand side, you will see where it says level 4, 34% completed. Minimum required is 3. Total items is 3. So what that means, she's completed 1 assignment already. She's completed her elective project, and she needed 1 elective to be completed. In the category that says electives, you'll see 100%. That lets you know out of the 1 required elective, she has completed at least 1 of them. Although there were 7 electives she could choose from, she just needed to complete 1 of them, and she's done that. So that's 100% completed. What is not completed is the main assignment. Usually the main assignment is going to come first, and you will notice that her main assignment is manage projects successfully. In managing the project successfully, she mentioned it has to be done in 2 parts. Well, in a moment, you'll learn why it has to be done in 2 parts, and that is when she'll have the opportunity to launch. Now, before we launch, let me pause. Let me ask you, what questions do you have for us before we start navigating through this? What questions do you have? Any questions, any comments? Oh, Sheila, thank you for that comment. Yes, teamwork is impressive. And if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to put it either inside of the chat box, or you can unmute your microphone and speak. If, however, you are all good, you can give me the reaction icon of a thumbs up, or you can put that in your screen. Perfect. Thank you for those thumbs up. Fantastic. Hey, I'm seeing some faces in the room that I know. What's up, Tiffany? Hey, Don. What's up, Bonnie? Albert, good to see you, man. Hey, Sheila. Hey, Patsy. Fantastic. And I've had the chance to speak to everyone else. Wonderful. All right, Dion, go ahead and launch for us. Now, whenever you are in your own base camp, everyone, in order to get inside of your assignment, you will do what Dion did. Click that blue button Sometimes it'll say activate. If it says activate, that simply means you've never been inside of it before. Yet if it says launch, that usually means you've been in it, you've been reading the material, you've had the opportunity to walk through. So you'll just go into the launch mode to bring the assignment back up. Now, Dion has been in this assignment before. That is why she knows this is a two-part assignment. She was initially at a different place, and I wanted her to come to the beginning of the assignment, and she did. It is at this point that Dushan is going to become the navigator. You know how you watch movies and they have a narrator, and sometimes the narrator sounds like Morgan Freeman, the voice of God, if you will. Well, that is how Dushan is going to be for us in this moment. He's going to read through the information to get us to the place where Dion left off. And that will be the place where she is now positioned to deliver her speech. Dion, you'll click through as needed, yet Dushan will read through the information. Dushan, you ready?
Okay, I'm gonna actually read. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
man.
Jeez, I put on these glasses. My goodness. Okay. I need these glasses. This is terrible. Yes, ready. The path to managing a successful project begins with enthusiasm, knowledge, and leadership of a project manager. Project managers take responsibility for the accomplishments of an idea, plan, or assignment and guide a team through each task while working to meet deadlines. Though every project is unique, project management skills apply in every setting. Move on. Okay, you're on mute.
I'm sorry.
Cassandra.
Uh-oh. Oh. Wait a minute.
Cassandra's on mute.
Yes,
Oh.
sir. You are to continue reading through. So when she clicks through to the next slide, continue reading through.
Okay.
Also. Oh.
Okay. In this project, you will learn how to recognize your strengths as a project manager. During the process of completing your assignment, you will recognize the importance of developing rapport with stakeholders, cultivating appropriate relationships with your team, and managing time to meet deadlines. You will develop the skills to delegate tasks, manage resources, and set a precedent for behavior. The purpose of this assignment is to practice developing a plan, building a team, and fulfilling the plan with the help of your team. Overview. Form a team of 3 to 4 people to choose a project to begin. Create a plan for your project and present the plan to your club in a 2 to 3 minute speech. Then complete your project with your team. Finally, present a 5 to 7 minute speech about the experience. The speech may be humorous, informational, or any type of speech that appeals to you. It should not be a report about the content of this project, but a reflection of your experience applying what you learned.
Awesome. Pause there for a moment, Dion and Dushan. Now, everyone, I want you to remember, when you are on your own, navigating through your own pathways assignment in Basecamp, you're going to get to a page that looks very similar to this. It tells you this is your assignment. It's giving you an overview of the purpose of the assignment and telling you very specific information that you'll do. Remember, Dion said, I have to do a 2-part assignment. Well, this is the initial page that told her she has to do a 2-part assignment. The first speech is going to be 2 to 3 minutes. The second speech at another time will be 5 to 7 minutes. This page is also important because it gives you a resource that you are to click, download, and use. Dion, can you click on that resource for us of the project checklist?
Yep.
Go over to the
Yep.
left-hand side underneath the image, project checklist. Now, everyone, this project checklist is going to repeat the purpose, the overview, and then it literally will tell you what this project includes and give you the opportunity to check off various actions. Dion, just scroll through visually for us what this checklist looks like. Thank you for doing that. Now, everyone noticed this was a 3-page checklist, various actions that were helping Dion to prepare and plan for this speech. Some of these actions she more than likely has already done because she's at the point where she's ready to deliver this speech. Yet in your own base camp, your assignments will tell you exactly what the purpose of the assignment is, give you an overview of the assignment, plus give you some resources to download. Your project checklist is usually one of those resources. Dion, thank you for clicking on that project checklist. Go back to the tab where you were for the assignment. And I think it's right there should be it. Perfect. You can now click your arrow for our navigator to take us through. Yep, click the arrow. Now I'm glad she clicked the arrow for the assess your skills before. This is also an important page for 2 reasons. Number 1, anytime you do an assignment in Pathways, they want you to assess your skills before you do the assignment and after you do the assignment. As I'm looking at this assessment, it doesn't appear, Dion, that you've already taken the assessment, but it could be my screen not showing the numbers shaded in. So I want you to
you're looking at it right, because I didn't know I was going to do this today. So
that's all right. Do you mind going ahead to honestly answer what you would give yourself for each of the statements? Good.
Okay.
And I'll read through, go back for me one moment because I have to keep in mind people are also watching this.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
No problem. So the first question that she's answering is, I recognize my strengths as a project manager. She says a 4 for that one. She's clicking next. Now notice she's clicking the word next, not the arrow. Anytime you have a page that has a back and a next, you want to make sure you're clicking those back and next burgundy buttons because that means there's more to the assignment. So Dion did the great thing. Now she's answering, I cultivate appropriate authoritative relationships with my members of my team. She's giving herself a 4 for that one. She's moving on to the next question. I manage time to meet deadlines and milestones. She is giving herself a 3 for that statement. She is assessing her skills with, I feel comfortable delegating tasks to team members. She's giving herself the rating of a 3. She's going on to the next because she has 3 more to go. I can assess the project's needs and manage resources accordingly. She gave herself a 4 for that. With the next statement, I am able to set a precedent for behavior for my team. She's given herself a 4 for that. And now she's recognizing how this project applies to her life outside of Toastmasters. She's given herself a 4 and she's clicking submit. And notice what happened. Don't close that out yet. Notice what's happening. Basecamp is giving her a congratulation message. It's basically saying you've successfully submitted your response. Now notice the next sentence. This is very important. After you've completed this entire project, repeat this assessment tool to measure your skill level. So that's a clue, everyone, that you'll do the assessment, as it says, assess your skills before. When you're done with the project, you'll come back and you'll do assess your skills after. Now we can select the forward arrow to continue, and our navigator, Dushan, will pick up from there.
Okay, I just want to add one thing. If you have to complete that assessment. If you don't complete that assessment, don't think at the end of it, when it erroneously tells you that you completed your assignment, that you're done. You're gonna have to go back and find out which one of those answers you did not answer. So moving forward at this point in time, just by moving forward, is not gonna get you to the right place for completing this particular project. Okay, competencies. Competencies. The following is a list of competencies that you will learn and practice in this project. First one, recognize your strengths and areas for growth as a project manager. Develop rapport with stakeholders. Cultivate an appropriate relationship with your team. Manage time to meet deadlines and milestones. Recognize and communicate what is required to accomplish tasks. Delegate to a team of people to complete tasks. Assess your project needs. Manage resources for the project. Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
Understanding project management. Project management is the process of planning, organizing, and controlling resources. A project manager spends time focused on procedures, protocols, and the motivation of team members in order to achieve specific goals. Project management encompasses many different facets of management and leadership and requires the effective use of both. The leadership duties filled by the project managers include, but not necessary, but includes this: identify the scope of the project, preparing and adhering to a schedule, delegating tasks for team members, establishing a budget if applicable, manage resources, and communicating progress. The attributes of a successful project manager. They're obviously good looking. Well, that's not me in the picture, but okay. Each project manager has her own way of organizing tasks and staying on schedule. The project manager will have unique style. There are very important identifiable skills that contribute to success. You may have completed the Discover Your Leadership Style questionnaire if the Understanding Your Leadership Style project was a part of your path. Take a moment to review your results. Your personal leadership style will affect how you function as a project manager and the strengths you bring to the job. Now, these are some of the attributes of a successful project manager. The first one, effective communication. One of your most important responsibilities when you manage a project is to communicate with your team and all stakeholders. For effective communication, project managers aim to explicitly outline the plans, goals, and objectives and strategies of a given project. Some of your communications may be quick in-person meetings to check progress, while others may require written responses to questions or concerns from either your team or an outside stakeholder. Keep your communications concise and as brief as possible while still answering questions and sharing necessary information. Maintain a record of all your communications to help you confirm that points of actions are completed. Strong organization. Remaining organized throughout a project's lifespan is integral to its success. Make a point of keeping project details current and under control. This can help you to effectively prioritize tasks to meet deadlines. Organizations includes managing your team's time appropriately. Optimism and enthusiasm. Your attitude toward a project can greatly influence the way your team approaches and performs tasks. When you communicate a sense of optimism and enthusiasm for the project and the tasks involved, you set the tone for your team.
Awesome. Notice something. Go back for me for a moment, Dion. I don't know if you were noticing me give those reaction icons because I was ecstatic at the fact that Dion was clicking through the navy and the burgundy. Anytime again, you're seeing those burgundy boxes in back or next, or even if you're getting the navy boxes and the burgundy boxes, they all signify additional information. Each time she clicked that burgundy box to turn it blue, and then our navigator, Dushan, read that additional information. When you are on your own in your own base camp, do the same thing. Kudos, navigator. Kudos, Diane, or Diane, Dion. Diana Ross, man, go ahead.
Dion Warwick, keep it
Dion
together.
Warwick, right. Got to get the right legendary.
Do
singer.
you know the way? Okay.
Oh, shucks. Attributes of successful project manager: leading by example. Adapting a positive attitude is just one way a project manager can affect his team's success, by setting an example. Other places where a project manager leads by example include setting the level of professionalism expected from each team member, demonstrating integrity when facing challenges, and showing gratitude for work done well. Show your team exactly what is expected of them by demonstrating it yourself. That's a good point, incidentally. That's a very good point.
Mm-hmm.
When people see you doing things, and they tend to do it too. Attributes of a successful project manager: cultivating a clear, appropriate, authoritative relationship with your team. Striking a balance between friend and authority figure can be a challenge when serving as a project manager, especially in a volunteer organization. Make sure you set a tone that will return the results you desire. A short-term project that affects few people may allow you to take a casual approach to leadership. When completing a project with a larger scope, you may need to set a more professional tone to gain the support you need. Attributes of a successful project manager: manage strengths. When working with a team, determine the best way to leverage each member's strengths. If you have the opportunity to build your own team, consider skills and abilities when choosing members. Personality and work ethic can affect the success of your team. Look for members who complement each other and will create a well-rounded group. Learn about your team. When you are assigned a team, assess the skills and talents of each member. If possible, take time to learn about each person before the project begins. Look for common ground among members and focus on creating a supportive environment. Build a cohesive unit. Whether you build your own team or assigned a group of people to work with, one of your most important goals is to build a cohesive team, a cohesive unit. This involves managing strengths, maintaining open lines of communication, and allowing the group to find processes and methods that work well for the team as a whole. Here's some good practices for project management. The first step in understanding how to succeed at project management is to recognize what it means to be an effective project manager. There are several factors that can help you accomplish your goals. Know your stakeholders. Know your stakeholders. A stakeholder is a person affected by your project. You may have a few or may have a large group of people who have an interest in the outcome. It is important to cultivate positive relationships with your stakeholders, whether they are people you work with daily or individuals who are removed from the details of your project. A stakeholder can be anybody who has an interest in this particular project. Thank you. Sorry. Build positive rapport. The best important method for building a positive rapport is communication. When working with a large group, plan your communications in advance so stakeholders know when to expect to hear from you. Make yourself available to questions and provide the most through answers possible. 90% of your time spent as a project manager is through communications. That wasn't on there, was it? Sorry. Another good practice for project management. Maintain communications. When your stakeholder group is smaller, communications is no less important. Depending on the project, you may be able to maintain an open door policy that allows for questions and discussions on a less formal basis. Or you may choose to set and maintain a communication schedule. More good practices. Plan meetings. Meetings give you the opportunity to check on your team's progress and communicate any changes to the plan. It gives your team an opportunity to voice questions and concerns and share updates. A scheduled meeting time each day or week can help establish a sense of uniformity in your team's process. Make sure the meeting time and frequency are practical for all parties to ensure the highest level of attendance. Set aside time in each meeting to address progress in the project. It is normal to make adjustments to your timeline and process to reflect changes. Changes can occur when milestones are reached ahead of schedule or if milestones are missed. There may be times when extra flexibility is required. Keep the goals of your project in view. Make meetings matter. Set an agenda and follow it as closely as possible. Encourage professional behavior during every meeting, including those that involve discussions. Staying on task and on topic will move your meeting through the agenda more effectively and help you accomplish more. Make sure you receive the desired information or feedback for each item on your agenda. Conversations are fruitful only if you receive productive feedback that can be implemented in the project. Use your scheduled time to plan and forecast upcoming meetings. Planning ahead allows you to manage your time effectively. Keep meetings focused on the agenda. Keep meetings focused on the agenda. Use your best judgment when faced with off-topic discussions. There are times when related discussions yield positive results, and other times when a meeting is wasted on topics that has little or no potential to contribute to the current project. In an off-topic discussion, if an off-topic discussion is important but not productive, make a note to schedule a new meeting with an agenda based on that discussion and return to your scheduled agenda. Lastly, but not leastly, ask questions. An open-ended question is designed to prompt more than one word answer. For example, do you like the rain? Will result in an answer, but it will not start a discussion. How do you feel about rainy days? Is a question that encourages discussion. During your meetings, ask open-ended questions to encourage your team. To generate feedback and the information you seek, ask questions that focus the team members' responses. You can begin with a broad question such as, what are you working on today? And lead into questions with a narrower scope. Asking questions in this manner will give you the information you want and may answer questions you did not think to ask. Clarify expectations. Communication with key stakeholders to define the outcomes they want to see from the project, from you, and from the team. As you work through the steps of your project, pay attention to the outcomes your stakeholders expect to see met. If you find your project deviating from these outcomes, communicate with the stakeholders as soon as possible. Even if a project in which every milestone is reached without an issue, each deadline is met and the concluding result is exactly what is hoped for, you need to communicate with the stakeholders. Make a habit of updating stakeholders as different versions and milestones of the project are completed. Ability to be flexible. Flexibility is a key component in leadership and in project management. No one, no matter how organized or capable, can anticipate and plan for every contingency. Elements of your initial plan may need to be adjusted. When you must make changes to your plan, remember the initial objectives of the project. Remain open to new ways of accomplishing your goals. When facing an unexpected problem, it is important to consider all solutions. Here's some project management tools. A project management tool can help you organize, manage, and keep track of a project. Any tool or resource that helps you stay organized is worth researching. These tools can be software or template documents, such as the project plan included in this project. You can use project management tools when sharing updates or schedules with team members. Don't go forward yet. So can we see the project, view the project plan? Cassandra? Oh, so, okay, thank you.
You asked for the project plan to be viewed, and it looks as if
Yes.
it's 3 documents, 3 pages to the document. So everyone,
Right.
similar to before, anytime you have a resource, you want to click on it, view it, you want to download it. Here, Dushan asked for it to be viewed, and that's what Dion is doing. And Dion, you can take it back
Yeah,
to
you could take that. Yeah,
there you go.
That's
That's
good.
perfect.
That's good. That's good.
And just scroll through the 3 pages so that way everyone can see what the other document looks like. And as you'll notice, again, it's a resource that you can type in, you can fill in your own information. And as we've been learning what a project is and the fact that this is the project plan that helps you to stay organized, you'll simply fill out the various categories along the way.
And you can print this too.
Yes, that's a good point, Dushan. You can print this, you can download it to your system, and you can also view it. Dion, go ahead and move forward. It appears that we might be getting toward the end of this assignment. So there are a few more elements that, as a matter of fact, do me a favor, Dion, go down to the arrow that says select to move to another section. So we know that this is your project management tools. Yep, this is the last category before review and apply. So what I want you to do is to go ahead and allow Dushan to navigate us through this page. And then I think the review and apply page is where you left off.
Yeah, aesthetic elements. Okay. Make sure They are appropriate for your team and simple to navigate. The accessibility to that is information must be easily located and accessible to meet the organizational needs of your team. The access to it, identify tools that are useful to each member of your team. Be sure that anyone who can benefit from the tools you use can access the tools functionality. The real key thing here is you got to press everything you see. Don't just go past it. Project management tools. Knowing and understanding the way your team reacts to communication and deadlines may influence your choice of project management tools. Regardless of your decision, a tool can be an efficient, time-consuming resource. What do you think are your strongest skill areas as a project manager? Remember these questions, please. How can you develop rapport with your stakeholders? What steps can you take to build an appropriate relationship with your team? How can managing your time affect the outcome of your project? What role does communication play in the completion of a successful project? List some strategies for delegating tasks to your team. What is the value of asking open-minded questions? This will help you incidentally write to your speech, some of these questions. Go ahead, yeah. Now that you have read through the project, plan and prepare your speech and report. You can see that, yes, you were going right, Dion. This is a project checklist. You want to move down, Dion? This kind of shows you what you have to do, 2 to 3 minute speech. And schedule your first speech. This is what Dion's going to do in a few minutes. Use a project plan resource, formulate a plan, write 2 to 3 minute, rehearse your first speech and present your first speech. Work with your team to complete the chosen project. Select your second speech and write a 5 to 7 minute speech for that one. Rehearse it, the second speech. And after you completed all the assignments, log in and complete the second portion of your self-evaluation on the assessment skills after the screen. Okay, yes, more. So review the menu schedule at the bottom of the page to return to your assignment screen. Organize, select the project checklist as we've done on the left side of the screen. Review the steps and add your own to organize and prepare your assignment. Schedule with your Vice President of Education to schedule your speeches and prepare for your evaluation. Go to your evaluation screen and review the evaluation criteria, print and send the evaluation resource to your evaluator. But at least get it, just in case you can't send it to them and you don't know who your evaluator is until the late minutes. Your evaluation, select the tabs above to review the criteria of the evaluation in this project. Your evaluator will use the following scale: 5 exemplary and 4 excels and 3 accomplished and 2 emerging and 1 developing. After your speech, log in to complete the second portion of your self-assessment on the Assess Your Skills After screen. After your speech, log in to complete the second portion of your self-assessment on the Assess Your Skills After screen. You must deliver 2 speeches to complete this project. The evaluation resource contains the evaluation criteria for each speech.
Awesome.
And yes.
And this is, Dion, pretty much where you were, right? When you opened your base camp for us, this was the screen you were on, weren't you? Yes. And I see her head is nodding there. She's saying yes.
Yes, it was. Mm-hmm.
Great. So in essence, everyone, she is now at the place, and this is for all of us, no matter what path we're in or what level we're on. Every time we do an assignment in Basecamp, Basecamp is going to get us to a window or a page that looks exactly like this. It gives you a heads up about what you're going to be rated on with the evaluation form, and it tells you what to do after you're done with your speech. Plus, it gives you the resources again for you to download, especially that evaluation resource. Now, let me pause us here and let's do this. Dion, go ahead and stop the screen share. You can go off camera and prep your notes for your speech because you'll be delivering the speech in a few moments. While we're doing that, as you know, as Dion is prepping, I want to basically get some feedback from you on what you observed with this. And I know some people might have been thinking, oh my goodness, Cassandra, why are we hearing Dushan read every single thing? Again, remember, this was all about demonstrating how to use Basecamp. It is not a briefly look at the window and decide I'm delivering a speech inside my club and get an evaluation form to be filled out for me so I can then go on to the next thing. That's because you do have to stop, pause, read through the information, get the lesson of what that assignment is all about. So let me first ask the question of, what did you observe as some of the key points for the lesson? This was Dion's level 4, managing teams successfully or managing projects successfully. What were some of the key takeaways you got from her assignment? Feel free to either unmute and speak. And if you have the raise hand feature, you can use that. You can also put your comment inside of the chat box as well. What were some of your key takeaways from her assignment? And I know for me, project management was that main term. And all I kept thinking was, ooh, if I was a project manager on my job, this would give me a refresher course on what a project manager really is doing. Elizabeth, thank you for your comment. You say it is important to see all the slides and not skip the first evaluation to the end. Very true. Yeah, if she didn't have that filled in, she would not be able at the end of this assignment to go in and say that it's completed because she wouldn't have had done that first evaluation. So great observation on that. Sheila, this is a good comment. You say, you were frustrated going back and forth and missing some of the areas. Thank you so much. Yeah, learning not just how to navigate quickly, but about my upcoming team, even events outside of Toastmasters. Very good point. Glad you picked up on that with this assignment with innovative planning. You say, although previous ones end results was newsworthy, you could have really used this information. So fantastic. And notice too, Sheila, she's in innovative planning. I've done innovative planning before. Dushan has done innovative planning before. Yes, some of us may never do innovative planning, yet Dion's path allowed us to learn something about project management because of it. So thank you for that. Hey, Sheila Edens Brown, go ahead and unmute. I see your hand.
Okay, it gave some tools that could be used for the project management. And I like that it gave, kind of gave a background, and it broke out what the project consists of and what needed to be in your speech. So it gave enough information to step into the project.
Yeah, good point. Great observation. Go ahead, Sheila Jones.
I was just going to add, the title itself intimidated me, and now I feel that that might be my next project, my next path.
Ah, look at that. So innovative planning is going to be your next path. Yes, kudos. Hey, Florence, I see you asking the question, is there a Pathway 101 class? I say technically, yes. I say you start in your Basecamp because they have in tutorial and resources tons of videos that teach you how to navigate through pathways. Is there a Pathways 101 class? Absolutely. Go to the Toastmaster International YouTube page, because on their YouTube page, they also give you information on how to walk through and navigate pathways. Is there a Pathways 101 class? Well, yeah, because in District 103, we do various pathway level sessions with our pathway gurus, and they have started doing sessions for beginners, intermediate, and advanced level members. So I would say, Florence, just take a look out for District 103 news that will hit your inbox or your junk mail folder. Yeah, at a minimum, starting tonight, you can log into your own Basecamp and start with those tutorial and resource videos or the YouTube page of Toastmasters International before the next District 103 session. So great question, and thank you for asking that. I'm looking here. Hey, Sheila Edens, I see your comment. You said, I am thinking that it will be your next one also. Yes, it's a great path. And as you'll notice, a lot of what you all mentioned with the path itself is that we can use this path in Toastmasters and outside of Toastmasters. Now, I want to make one other comment about the reason I wanted to do this in the demonstration method that we did today. Literally, I wanted you to see that when you take time to go into Basecamp, you're going to dedicate anywhere between 15 to possibly 45 minutes reading through the content. Do not go into your club delivering a speech that you have not yet done the Basecamp pre-work for. The pre-work is needed to make certain that you're meeting the objectives of your speech. And not only that, as you saw, you get some really good information about that path and that assignment. Finally, and I'll say this, Dushan read through, even with my constant interruption, he read through the information in 34 minutes. That was 34 minutes, and minus my time, it more than likely could have been under 30 minutes. Yet I wanted you to see reading through it. And here's a sidebar as well. The more you practice reading out loud, the better your speaking will become. The more you can read out loud, the better your speaking. You can get the opportunity to practice your voice variations, your pacing, your volume, all of that. Hearing Dushan read that out loud, some of you might have been thinking, oh my goodness, can we stop? Well, no, I want you to get in the habit of reading out loud as well. And your Basecamp assignment is one of those where you'll have some fun reading it out loud as you navigate through. And again, dedicate anywhere between 15 minutes to 45 minutes to do the pre-work with Basecamp. Albert, thank you for your comment. You say you always see the information in each project as very educational that culminates in the project. Therefore, you always consider the pre-work very important to the project and the speech. Look at you, sir. That is on point. Awesome. Reading is fundamental, Dushan. That is a very good point. Well, all right, everyone, here comes the next part. Now, imagine again, as I said, if we were all in the club together, we would see speakers delivering speeches and evaluations being delivered. We're going to have a speech, yes, from the hip being delivered today by our District 103 Program Quality Director. She's going to deliver her speech. We also have an evaluator who is literally going to do the Pathways sanctioned evaluation form so she can get credit for this in her actual club. Although this is not her club meeting, she's giving a Toastmasters speech or she's delivering a Pathways speech, still in a Toastmaster setting that she can get credit for. Joya Herring Williams is going to be Dion's evaluator. Joya, I see you're on screen and it looks like you are ready.
Yep.
Great. Dion, I see you are on screen as well, and it appears that you are ready too. Great.
Not as much as I'm going to be.
All right. Well, I will serve as your timer.
Okay.
And I'll put that on just for now, but I will actually officially start timing at your first utterance, similar to how we would do in a speech contest. And speaking of being in a speech contest, let me introduce you by your speech as we would in a speech contest. So everyone, today we are going to hear from speaker number 1, Dion Legging, with a successful winter TLI A successful winter TLI, Dion Legging.
Good afternoon, Toastmasters and guest. So I am going to speak to you briefly in how I formalized my team in trying to have a successful winter TLI. And in doing so, there are 8 points that I want to review with you. My first task, because I could not or should not do this project by myself, and so I had to get a TLI dean. And so I did get one, and her name is Jay Shepherd. So her and I, we had a discussion, and because this was something that was new to her, and we wanted to get also a keynote speaker who was going to draw the members to our winter TLI, and that we also were confident that was going to be able to give us educational information that was going to help our members. So that will be point number 2 in trying to get our TLI dean. We also wanted to make sure that we had a very good TLI keynote speaker. One of the things that we wanted to make sure that the TLI did was not just with the keynote, but that we were also able to utilize our preferred trainers. This was it was a twofold kind of a project as far as making sure that our trainers had an opportunity to show what they can do, but also bring information that was timely, educational, and fun. Step number 4, we wanted to make sure that our TLI was safe. And what I mean by that is, as you know, in the times in which we are now, we are in with having to deal with COVID. And there was a point that we had to vacillate as to whether or not we were going to have this in-person / hybrid, or if it was just going to be virtual. And based on those numbers, we made the decision to go ahead and do it hybrid. I'm sorry, no, we did not. We did it virtual. So that brought to us some challenges in making sure that, because as you know, everybody all over is spending time in front of the computer. So we wanted to do something fun. And so one of the things that we did was we wanted to have our TLI dean solicit someone that could bring some fun to the TLI, and she wanted us to do that. I'm not going to go into detail because that's not what's supposed to be. Anyway, we also in our planning wanted to make sure that the theme was educational driven, but also fun. And we wanted to make sure that our promotional pieces were tied together. So we brought in our PRM manager who was available, and she helped in making sure that our titles matched our pictures. So Jay and I were very clear in how the way we were also going to communicate. We made sure we scheduled time, not as often in the beginning, but we then met sooner, but also had it in place that when we were outside of our regular meeting time, if there was information that we needed to get or gather, that we had already set in place what was the best way to do that. Will we text first? Will we call first? Will we email? So those are some things that we took into consideration. And when I come back to you the next time, I will tell you all of the results of what our planning produced. Thank you very much. Back over to you, Training Director Cassandra Lee.
Fantastic job, Dion. Everyone give her a round of applause. Dion, make note in your records, that was 3 minutes and 54 seconds. And that was so awesome. And I have to tell you, in my notes, I had written down mainly everything and forgot to mention if this was your first speech or the second one. And I was like, oh my goodness, because that's influencing the time, right? Yet your organization of your speech gave me the clue that it was the 2 to 3 minute speech. So this was fantastic. 3 minutes and 54 seconds.
4 seconds. So, okay.
3 minutes, 54 seconds. So there we go. So, all righty, everyone. We saw the speech, Now let's hear the evaluation. Willing to evaluate our impromptu speech today is our Toastmaster member, Joya Herring Williams. Joya, go ahead and take the floor.
Thank you for that introduction. And Dion, great speech. In terms of the things that you excelled at, you did great in terms of vocal quality of your speech. Things that you might want to work on as someone who is not in project management, knowing exactly what TLI was or what PRM was would have been helpful just in terms of letting your audience know what those acronyms stood for. You also did well in terms of your comfort level. You looked very comfortable giving your speech. One of the things I might want to suggest in the future is just a little bit more in terms of your gestures for your speech, if that's possible in terms of your topic. And overall, you did great in terms of timing as well. I think it was, you had 2 to 4 minutes and you were kind of right in there. That
Hey,
is-
Joya, that was me making the attempt to get myself off of mute.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the evaluation. Yay. We were able to provide a verbal evaluation in addition to witnessing an actual speech. Now, Dion, here's the final part of that. I say we do the pre-work in base camp. We do the presentation in the club, or in this case at a district event. And now we need to do the post work, that final page or 2 in base camp. Go back inside of your base camp. And everyone, what we're mimicking is basically when you are in your own base camp and you've delivered your actual speech in your club, your speech evaluator has provided you with verbal evaluation. And Joya, by the way, be sure to put, if you can, inside of the chat box to Dion privately, if you can, send her your written evaluation. And just in case that's a problem, I'm going to put my email inside of the chat box for everyone. And you can email me the evaluation and I can get it over to her if need be.
Okay.
Now, here's another trick. As Dion is getting her screen together, I wanted to let you know, everyone, serving as a vice president of education for my club, it is always important for me to have record that my members have delivered speeches. Whenever a speech evaluator has completed the written form, I want that speech evaluator to send the speaker the form so that way they have it for their record. Yet I also want a copy as well, because that helps me to know that the member has delivered that speech. And if their records get jumbled or they lose the actual form, at least I as VPE have a backup document that that assignment has been completed. Yes, Sheila Jones, go ahead.
I didn't understand how to send the evaluation after I completed it. Because when I looked at it, it had all of the things I had written had disappeared.
Oh,
How do I save it so that I was filling it in on the screen?
Let me ask Sheila, what type of device are you using?
I have a notebook. Laptop.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. It's a PDF. What you might have to do is save it as, and put it in whatever file that you want to put it in, whether you put it on your desktop or you put it in a folder. Save as, give it a different name, and see if that helps to keep the detail that you typed in.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And then Sheila, if all else fails, you might have to, well, if you print it and take a picture of it and send that image over to them, that will be a backup way as well. But I'm thinking the real trick is saving it as, renaming it to another name, and that should capture your details that you typed in. All right. Okay, everyone, notice where Dion is. Remember that reminder, assess the skills before? Now she's at assess your skills after. So Dion, now that you've done the project, do you recognize your strengths as a project manager? What's your score for yourself?
I do, but I can't do this yet because I have to do my second part, right?
No, you're right.
I
Look
can't
at me
because
being happy. Look at me being happy.
I know
You know
I
what?
was happy too. And then I go, wait a minute, I can't do it yet. And there was somewhere in the note where it said to do this after I've done both projects. I
That's
think it's on the
true.
evaluation.
Go back, click that left arrow. Click the left arrow, double check. You must deliver 2 speeches, yep, to complete this project. Bingo, there you go. So good catch on that. And notice everyone, that's exactly right. If she had gone ahead and done that, her VPE would have said, okay, Dion, this assignment really isn't done because you haven't done part 2 of this assignment. So yeah, so that's a good point. Yet check out that she would go back in and she would do assess your skills after this is done. Okay, good. Thanks, Dion. You can stop your screen share.
Okay.
All right, everyone, I am open to your thoughts, your comments, your questions, your feedback. How was this experience? I know this was a little different than how we've been seeing pathways done in District 103, yet did the demonstration portion help? And if so, how for you? You're more than welcome to raise your hand with the raise hand icon. You can put your comment inside of the chat box. And of course, you can speak. Thanks, Cheryl, for the applause.
Oh, I didn't intend on applauding. I intended on raising my hand.
Well, Cheryl, you now have the floor. Go ahead.
How about that? Okay, me and Pathways have been having a lot of fun. Somehow or another, when I was completing level 2, I completed it in Pathways before I actually did a speech. And I still to this day don't know how I did it. So I had to be on the honor system and go back and do the speech so that I actually did it. And then after you asked me today about where I was, I looked on in my base camp. I'm on level 3. I completed the elective, but I still had the main project. And as Dion was going through hers, I was kind of clicking through mine. Somehow or another, and I do not remember doing this, I did the original assessment. And I was like, where did I get these answers from? And I can't figure out, can you go back and erase them? I'm gonna get kicked out of Toastmasters.
You're not getting kicked out. And no, you can't go back and erase them. Yeah, at least what you'll be mindful of is for the next assignment that you do is to be aware of how you're answering and what those results are. Because once you do it and it sends you that message that is successful, boom, they locked in your responses.
No, okay. All right. Well, I'm not pushing any more buttons until I'm making sure. At least until at least now I know to read everything before I actually do the speech. So this time when I complete level 3, it will be totally and completely honest.
Well, thank you, Cheryl, though. I appreciate, number one, I appreciate your comment. And I really also appreciate you using the honor system to go back, because that's what your VPE more than likely would do. I know for sure if I was your VPE and I saw that you had navigated through everything, but I don't have a record of you delivering those speeches, I'm going to have you go back and make sure you've done the work and you've matched that presentation with the pre-work and the post-work.
Yeah.
So yeah, good. Thank you for that. Joya, go ahead and take the floor.
I am on level 1 and I just did my icebreaker last Thursday. So I am really new to the process of the pathways and base camp. And this was really nice to kind of get that assessment of going through the levels and really the importance of having to go through all of the slides and all of the resources to do your speeches. So Thank you. I did it a little bit with my icebreaker. I kind of got the sense of it, but it's really helpful to kind of see how this progresses with the different levels.
Oh, that's so cool. And you know what? You have the fun assignment where they had a video in your work. Dion's level 4 didn't have a video, but I know in the icebreaker, they give that video as part of the assignment as well. So as you're navigating through, you get to read and click buttons and read more, but you also had the chance to watch something. So that's good. Yeah, thanks, Joya, for sharing. And also thanks again for being the evaluator for today. Yay! Being a new member and stepping out your comfort zone to evaluate a member that you didn't know. Oh, everybody find a reaction icon, whichever reaction icon that you find. I know we're going a few minutes over time, yet I want you to find your reaction icon. Kudos to you, Joya, for doing that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, go ahead, Dion. I see your hand is up.
I was just going to very quickly say, Cheryl, I know what you're talking about, and I think it might be level 2 that you have to do one speech twice. And after the first time, if you do like what I was getting ready to do, that's how that happens. You have to do both of them and then do the after assessment. So I have done that. And as soon as I do it, I get on the horn with my VPE and go, please ignore, because I haven't done anything yet. So
yeah, I was doing something. Next thing I saw was congratulations.
Right.
Completed level 2. And it's like, I did.
Yeah, no. And it's almost, you almost kind of wish it would say, are you sure? Exactly. You know how sometimes you go to some websites and they say, are you sure this is what you want to do? So
hopefully that'll be the next built-in feature, right? Are you sure?
Are you sure? Especially on the ones where it's 2-parters.
Right.
That's really, when you haven't done the other part, so.
Yeah, my wish, and this is on my Pathways wish list for TI, I wish they will separate it out and make it its own separate assignment. It can say managing projects 1, managing projects number 2. So that way we know that they really are similar to evaluation, in level number 1, you got to evaluate a speech, deliver that first one, and then you redo that speech, get another one. I want them to be separate. And until that happens, I have to be reminded, just like you did, like you said, Cassandra, I don't think I can do this yet. And I say, you know what? You're absolutely right. We can't. So that was good catch. Thanks for that, Dion. Dushan, go ahead.
I just want to remind people that this is kind of a duality kind of projects. All these projects are duality. The first part is you're reading a book, just like you're reading a book in your school. And thanks for go ahead and creating and reading that whole book through. That's what Pathways did for you. Now take the test, do the speech. So it's reading the book and now you got the information, now do the speech. That's the test. Now there's another duality portion where you get finished doing all that, by finished doing your speech, your VPE has to know the fact that you've got it, you've done the speech, they've got the evaluation, and you've got to somehow let them know that, either through Free Toast Host or somehow that you let them know that happened. And then they've got a duality thing because now they've got to go through Toastmasters International and actually place it. The fact that we've got new clubs or fairly new clubs, or we got brand new VPEs that don't know how to do that. And therefore they can get behind some of the time. So your VPE gets those evaluations so that you have a backlog of what's been done. Otherwise, things can get very, very mixed up.
Spoken by a Pathways guru, giving us some of that inside information. Spoken by a Pathways guru. Sheila Edens Brown, go ahead and take the floor.
Okay, I am VPE, and this is the first time that I've heard that we need to get the evaluations when they are done.
It is up to the VPE. For me, I can't retain all of that information. I can't remember people doing a speech from 2020 and they're now moving to the next speech. And I'm saying 2020 because I was a VPE during that time as well. I may be able to look in Free Toast Host because my club does use Free Toast Host to capture that information, that if they showed up to the meeting. So if Free Toast Host is an accurate reflection of them showing up to the meeting and delivering that speech, that's true. Otherwise, it may not be 100% accurate. Just so for my note-taking purposes, for my record-keeping purposes, and for my sanity when I have to submit in Club Central on the TI website, I need to make sure that I have documentation that shows they literally did that speech. And then for me, another reason, Sheila, the reason why I want the evaluation form is because a lot of my members are seasoned members who are delivering speeches outside of the club environment. So I want to know what other people are seeing as far as their strengths, their challenge areas, and how those evaluations are reading. So that gives me an indication how the members' progress is outside of the club environment. So that's my choice. Not every VPE does that.
Thank you.
And I like
You're
this
welcome.
add, Sheila. The other thing is that unless you plan on being VPE forever, once you leave your office, trust me, there's going to be somebody who gave a speech in February that might have gotten mixed up, not recorded, but now this is August. And how are they going to go and find out if they really done the speech? Did you have an evaluation to really say they've done it? If not, it's up for grabs. And of course, the next VP doesn't know, so they give them credit for something they may or may not have done. So
Right.
That's why I say the evaluation is a very important piece.
Thank you. Okay.
Everyone, what additional comments or questions do you have? I'll go an additional 4 minutes. Anything else that you want to ask, make a comment on? You are, of course, more than welcome to raise your hand and speak. Go ahead, Dion. I see your microphone is unmuted.
I was just going to say, I'm just so appreciative, one, of you doing this, and two, of those of you that took your Sunday afternoon to attend, as I am really, really, really wanting to increase the members' engagement in Pathways. And, you know, as long as Pathways has been around, it really has not been around that long, but we would have liked to have had more people engaged, but this is only going to help in that effort. So Cassandra, thank you for doing this, and all of the other 15 other people on here. Thank you for attending.
Oh, you're quite welcome, Dion, and thank you for giving the go-ahead for this idea for this session. And I also have to commend the District 103 Pathways team, the Pathway Gurus team. I know our Chief Pathways Guru, Sandra Washington, she and I exchanged notes back in December when I told her I was thinking about doing this. And I said, I hope I'm not stepping on anything that the gurus want to do. She said, oh no, go ahead, because with you doing this, it helps to not only complement what they have planned, what's coming up. And she said, it never hurts to do more sessions on Pathways. This was a format, everyone, that I did with my club last club year. I literally had a member read through everything just like Dushan did. I intervened a couple of times with some additional comments like I did today. I also had a member who was in the same path at that speech deliver a speech. And I think we were in level 1. So we got the opportunity to read through the information. Level 1, the evaluation, is the evaluation speech. That was the assignment we did. So we literally saw someone deliver a speech just like Dion did today. We had a member do a speech evaluation like we saw Joya do today. And then that member went back into base camp and they were able to actually complete it because the speech that was delivered was the second speech for the evaluation and feedback, which worked. Today we did the first part of managing projects successfully, which is why we couldn't do the assessment. But in the original demonstration, we were able to finish out that assessment. And that member said, oh, wow, I am so glad that you had me do this because now it made sense. And one of the reasons I had her be the individual to be the navigator was because she was struggling with Basecamp. And really what I wanted to show was it's a little more time consuming, but it's not that difficult. It's reading, it's dedicating the time to read through the information and to navigate through the information, yet it's not as difficult as people make it to be. So I'm hoping this recording from today's session will show to our other members that Pathways Basecamp really isn't that difficult to use. It is a matter of dedicating the time. Anywhere between 15 minutes to 45 minutes should get you through your Basecamp for that particular assignment. Go ahead, Dion.
I was just going to ask a quick question to Joya. You're brand new to this. What are your thoughts on the difficulty of going through Pathways? If you could just real quickly, I mean, because go ahead.
Okay, it is fairly overwhelming.
Okay.
I'm on just one pathway, the presentation mastery. And so I felt when before I did my icebreaker, that there's all these slides and all these screens and all these, where am I going? But when I did the icebreaker and kind of went through all of the different screens, and they do have tutorials, and then I said, okay, well then I need to stop and look at the resources, then it wasn't as overwhelming. But when I first started, it was really just a lot of things that you could look at and not really sure where I should go in terms of how to start.
So did this session, in your opinion, did it help you, and do you think it would help more new members?
I think it would, because I think when you first start, like I said, it's overwhelming. Knowing that you have a step-by-step process to get through the pathway, I think is helpful. Otherwise, without that, you kind of feel like, okay, well, I want to start, but there's so much I have to do, and there's so many different levels I have to get through, and there's so many things in the different levels. But by hearing, just like I'm a physician, so I'm not a project manager, but kind of hearing that was just great information for me, not in that space, but I was like, oh, okay, maybe I could use that to, do something else. I think that part is really educational and really helpful, and makes me want to go forward with my own pathway.
Okay, and I'm sorry, because I'm just I'm just trying to grasp at things and how we can get our new members engaged, because they don't know of the other, but I'm just trying to figure out what is the hesitation in getting into Pathways. So, okay.
Well, and I also didn't know that there was any way that I didn't know that there was an option of not doing it. I just felt like, oh, okay, I'm getting started. They pointed me to Pathways. My president went through with me on how to use Basecamp and where it was. So I just thought that was what you were supposed to do. I didn't know it was an option.
That's good. That's good to know.
Yes. And Joya, there really shouldn't be an option yet, because we have transitioned in the last 5 years from what we used to use. There are some members some of them are rebelling. They don't want to use Pathways because they were so accustomed to the original system. And it's a change, it's a transition. And we say, if you're delivering speeches in your club environment right now, those should be connected to your path and Pathways. Yeah, thank you. And Dion, thank you for that question. That was such a great question.
Well, can I say something, Dion? Not only do I think, you're focusing on new members, I think this was extremely helpful.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I feel like I'm new to Toastmasters in terms of Pathways. I have done a number of things in Toastmasters, and even given speeches, but Pathways, I feel like I'm a brand new member. And this has been extremely helpful to, like I said, I was hitting buttons and advancing and just, it was like trial and error. at least now I feel a lot more confident to
Good.
go ahead and go in there and deliver my speeches and do it the proper way.
Mhm.
And I'm a little more enthusiastic about wanting to even do a speech. Not that I have any problems with running my mouth, but just doing it, the Pathways way. I feel a lot more confident now. So,
Awesome.
yeah. So
Thanks
this
so
has
much,
been
Cheryl.
great, Cassandra. Yeah, this has been extremely helpful.
Good. I'm glad. And I know both Elizabeth Stevenson and Banu mentioned inside of the chat box that it was time worth spent. Banu said it was worth waking up at 3 a.m.
I know.
So I appreciate them both. And even Elizabeth said inside of the chat box that she asked all of her members to sign up for this demo meeting, even if they couldn't attend. And I had a chance to meet one of her members who came on early to register. And then she and I are making sure that we exchange emails so that way she can get the recording. Elizabeth mentioned that her team, her club members, they're going to spend some time in the future at a meeting discussing the information that they learned from the recording. And I'm glad that we're having this extra conversation. And yes, this recording is going to be a little bit lengthier than some of the others, yet I do believe that the comments that you've made and the questions that you all asked will be very beneficial for others who have watched or who will watch the recording. Good. Awesome. I am looking right now at the fund. Sheila, you mentioned something about your club meeting.
I wanted to invite everyone. We're having a concert.
So don't leave us hanging. What kind of concert?
No, what the?
Who's playing?
I'm putting it in the chat.
Okay.
So my email, and it's January 22nd at 12:30 p.m. And that's our regular meeting time. So if you're interested, just send me an email and I'll send the link out when it's available.
Nice. And is this like a membership building event for your club, or is it a special anniversary? What's bringing the concert about?
It's well, we have a coach who is a musician. He has a band. And
Ah,
so we know that he performs on the weekends, and been to a gig or so with him. He kind of navigates between Matson, Illinois and Detroit, Michigan. He
okay.
goes back and forth. So we decided we were going to have a concert. And I mean,
Nice. Nice. That is
you're
cool.
all welcome to come. And if you have that slot available, 12:30 on Saturday, January 22nd.
So Sheila, you're at CUT.
Yes.
Okay, I was
Yes,
at that
Universal.
meeting when they were talking about planning that concert. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Look at that. Well, everyone, the chat box is definitely open. I'll keep the Zoom room open a few extra moments. What I'm going to do is officially close the session so I can shut down the recording and we can hang around until the top of the hour to continue to chat. So I want to again thank all of you for taking the time to be present for our D103 Senior Advisor webinar series. This was an opportunity for a Pathways demonstration meeting. We had some great information that was shared. Feel free to share the recording with others when you get access to the link. Until next time, everyone, be well, stay safe, and keep learning and growing as a communicator, speaker, and leader. I'll see you all next time. Let me close the recording.